In this video, I'm going to take you behind the scenes to my amazing music video. And I say amazing because I'm always amazed that I get these jobs and I get to do what I love. And then I want to share those experiences with you. The video is with superstar Tiziano Ferro that I produced and I directed for Universal Records. I'm going to tell you how I got this video. You're going to learn how I made the treatment and the mood boards that swayed the record label's decision to go in my direction and had Tiziano defend me and go in my direction. We're going to talk about my role as a director on set and who I talk to and who I communicate with and how that happens. We're going to talk about picking a location. We're going to talk about as a producer and then how overall all of this comes together. You're going to learn a ton. This is a little bit film schoolish from someone who has not been to film school himself. So I hope that this helps you. Number one, let's give you a little bit of context in how I met Tiziano Ferro. I didn't want to work for him at first. And one of my really best friends, Brandy Greenleaf, was the event planner. And she does amazing, amazing work. She said, I'm coming to LA. And I'm doing an event, a wedding for a celebrity who is getting married, and it's kind of like a hush-hush situation. His fans don't know, and we're looking for a wedding photographer. And I was like, oh, no, I don't do weddings. I did starting out, but it's a whole different kind of photography. I respect him very much. She said, but I really just get a gut feeling that he's gonna like your work and you're gonna like him, he's gonna like you. This feeling is that if you work with him, he's gonna love you, he's gonna look at your work, and maybe one day you'll do like a record cover for him or a music video. Well, here we are in the making of this music video, and I did his record cover and I directed and produced this music video. So there's something to be said about trusting good friends, having great relationships, trusting sometimes if your gut isn't there, but another friend is very good at trusting their gut, then go with that. That's how I met Tiziano Ferro. We exchanged. He was the coolest person to work with. Super just, how much do you charge? Okay, great, I got it. No negotiations, no bargaining, nothing. I have to say that because it's rare. And then I didn't hear from him for about 8 to 9 months. And Tiziano's husband texted me and said, hey, Tiziano wants to talk to you. And would you ever be open to photographing him for like music projects? And I was like, sure, have him give me a call. We spoke. And I didn't want to give a quote. And I said, I want to talk to you about what this project is and why it's important to you. The way I always tell you guys, if you're in my pricing course, step pricing course, I always say, talk to them. Put humanity in your work. We did a project. He loved it. But then, we're all locked in our homes for about 3 years. And we couldn't use those images. He used a few for social. We really couldn't use them, but he liked the style. Talk about loyalty. A year and a half later, this was about May of 2022, I get an email from his record label, Universal Records, and they're like, hey, Waleed, we want to know what you would charge for a Tiziano Ferro album cover shoot. Tiziano never asked me. He just said, I want Waleed to do it. That kind of loyalty, you got to hold on to them and you got to be that loyal to them back. But here's where I almost got the video in my head, but I didn't get the video and I wasn't even a contender. The video that I'm talking about is the third release from his album. It coincidentally is also my favorite song off the album. But how it happened was I had spoken to my DP, Skylar, one of my DPs, and I was like, Skylar, would you ever come and do like a fashion film in the day of my record cover shoot? And it'd be really cool if Tiziano gets to see how I direct, then maybe he'll give me his first video. I had no idea that he had already filmed his first music video like a week before the album shoot. So Tiziano was like, hey, if you really, really want video there, I'm okay with it, but I really don't think we need it. There's too much going on. It's gonna stress me out. Okay, fine, Tiziano, fine. So we didn't do it. Did the album cover shoot. I shot this. And I photographed that and produced it. But I worked with graphic designer, of course, I forget his name off the top of my head, but the photos are mine. Come on! And then there's, of course, booklets in there and more artwork, but so freaking cool. But I'm very proud of this work. The reason why I'm telling you this whole story is because I want you to know how music videos can happen. So I didn't get the chance to shoot a fashion film in the day of the record cover shoot that you just saw. And I was disappointed. I was like, okay, I saw the video. My friend did a lot of choreography. I was happy for everyone. that was it. I had no idea they even released a second album, a second video, a black and white, like a talking head video. But I texted him when that record came out. And I always thank my clients. I'm like, Tiziano, thank you for letting me be a part of this voyage. Thank you for trusting my vision. Thank you for asking me. Thank you for referring me. Thank you for trusting me. Like, I don't take that lightly, that this is your record cover. This is an era in your career. And it's my images. Just come on. Like, how do you not have gratitude with that? And I said, by the way, I'm listening to it right now. Addio, mi amore. I think is how you say it. It is the song of the album. Fast forward to about a week later, and he says, hey, Walid, would you be interested in writing? Now, what does writing mean? I'll discuss that in a second. Would you be interested in writing for Addio? Yo, the Italian fans, can you please put that in the comments, and then you can rip me apart. Addio, mi amore. He's like, would you like to write? That's going to be the next single. So number one, what is writing for treatment? What is really a treatment? You can see it on the screen. It's kind of scrolling fast. It's important to me, number one, that I show you what images inspire me. There's too many directors and photographers that pretend it all came from up here. No, I'm inspired by people. There are people inspired by my work, by their work, and I think it's important and it's very respectful to give credit. I was inspired by. I didn't copy. I was inspired by. And so those images will be right here on the screen too, as you can see. I put a treatment together. A treatment is basically a very fluffy, not well written visual words that give the client, the record company, the artist, the management, an idea of what you want. So a treatment might say, the lighting is gorgeous. The camera moves in a seductive way through the set, only to reveal Tiziano. Now, I didn't write those words, but you would never write a school paper or a term paper or anything like that with such a style. But with music video, it's got to be light and fluffy, and everyone's got to be like, oh, I get it, I see it. This is how I do it. I put like a beautiful title that gives them the vibe of the video, and then I start with the writing. So the reason why I start with the writing first is because I want him to look at the pictures with the narration that I had in mind. Then when he says, do you want to write? That's what he means by that idea. So that will go to management, to artists, to record label. If that is approved, that's going to go to my DP, that's going to go to the art department, that's going to go to PAs, that's going to go to wardrobe and hair and makeup. Everybody has to be on the same page, because when you say it's going to be dark and dramatic, see, person A thinks entirely different than person B. But if you show them a visual reference of what dark and dramatic means, now all of us know what type of dark and dramatic. So that's something that really helped me. So that is what got him to go, I love this, Walid. And he actually said an F word, I effing love this. And then he told me why. He said, now you can send this to the record label. Because you always want to respect the artist first and say, especially if they're the ones that contacted you. And then you go proper channels. The record label loves it if the artist loves it. Management is going to support what the artist wants. So we were golden, and then we were given a budget. Don't want to go into details about the budget, but we were given a budget and we made everything work out. Don't have a manager, I don't have an agent, and up to this date, I don't really believe in agents and managers unless I find the right one. If I find the right one, I'm absolutely open to it, but I haven't had the best luck myself. I am my own everything, and that's worked out for my career. So you got to figure out, is that what works for you, or do you need someone to speak for you? There's no right, there's no wrong, it's just what you want. As I mentioned earlier, I played the producer and I played the director. As a producer, I'm dealing with so many different people. Pre-production, that's negotiating everyone's rates and their contracts and dates and looking for studios and location scouting. And then during production, being the producer on set, and then post-production, putting it all together. But then as a director, you see the diagram of who I'm speaking with. That is a different set of duties in pre-production, then production, then post-production. So let's go over the differences. Walid as a producer, or yourself, because you're going to be producing it yourself. As a producer, I am speaking with, negotiating, managing, handling, paying, doing contracts for, finding, hiring, sometimes firing. We fired one person for this job. Actually, they didn't show up, and then it was a disaster, but that'll be a whole different video. As a producer, I'm in charge of the BTS crew. I have to find them, I have to make sure they're doing the right job, and a lot of the B-roll you're seeing in this video is photographed and filmed by the BTS crew, and that was provided by Powered by Legacy, filmed by Derek Jones. He did a phenomenal job. The second part that I'm doing is all the production assistants. The most underpaid, underappreciated, overworked people, but that's where you start. Your production assistants are doing everything. Some go run errands, some go with office paperwork, some do both, some are lifting sandbags and setting up C-stands, some are running errands, some are holding something, some are just standing there for support, some are saying, do you need anything? And so we have our production assistants. So there's a whole bunch of them working together. I'm talking to all of them as producer brain on set. Then I'm also speaking with art department. Now, our art department person texted me the night before at about 11:30, 11:45 and said, hey, I can't make it. And it was pouring rain, big storm. So I had to figure out. So from 11:30 at night, I was gonna wake up at 5 in the morning, but I actually stayed awake through the whole thing doing his job. And it's interesting now because even like picking up and locating some of the stuff that he had gotten his friends to get and everything. So almost like a caravan of Uber cars, because there was no more room inside my car, delivering a big mirror and a chair and rentals, and it was a disaster. But you don't give up because the client is anticipating that this is going to be done well. So challenge met, challenge, we raised the bar, and we'll never work with that person again. On top of that, I'm also dealing with my DP, David, who was phenomenal. David, this is the first time we worked together as a DP director relationship. I had hired him in the past when he just finished film school as a PA. So it's important to grow with people. But David and I had a lot of conversations. Which camera? From producer brain. How much is it gonna cost? What rental house? What kind of insurance certificates do they need? Okay, what studio do you recommend? Why do you recommend it? Is there something better? Is there something cheaper? And that's the kind of relationship I have. How much do you want to get paid? That's a lot. How about this? How about that? How about we bring this in too? Which crew do you want? Why? What's their contact information? You're doing everything. Then as a producer, I'm also talking with the talent and the record label and the management. Then as a producer, I'm dealing with everything money, and I'm dealing with everything paperwork, and I'm dealing with everything insurance. Of course, that goes in the paperwork department, and I'm dealing with the record label, negotiating, making sure that the invoice is paid, international wires, making sure that the deposit is paid, negotiating the deposit, because did you know you can negotiate your deposit? Some people only ask for 20%. I ask for 75%. Damn right. Take my step pricing course. You're gonna learn more than you can imagine. Okay. I also am dealing with studio owners, studio locations. I'm dealing with vendors and rental companies. I'm dealing with props, all crew, and the production company Powered by Legacy. That's a lot. But what does Walid as a director do? I would say speaking with the producer and seeing what the budget can allow, but that's literally me saying, okay, let me think as a producer. Okay, let me think as a director. It's super bipolar, but that's what you have to do sometimes just to get the job done. But as a director, we went on a location scout. So David told me about a place called A Very Good Place. I highly recommend them. They're in Van Nuys, California. And we went and we did a scout there. They held a few dates for us, super courteous. And I will be filming there again. And they did a really good, fair rate for us. We looked and saw if the location studio had the lighting we wanted, the white cyc we wanted, the parking we needed, the big enough doors to load and unload. Do we have a green room for the talent? Do we have a hair and makeup place? How many bathrooms? AC, heating, what grip, what gear stuff do they have? Do they have any rentals? So that's what I did as a director also, producer and director with my DP. I also did something super smart, and I encourage you to do this. If you're going to bring an editor, if you're going to hire an editor, I paid my editor, Zachary Olsen, and I'm gonna link to him down below. He's so good. If the video is about 4 minutes, he had notes on about 5 seconds of it. He was so good to work with, but so was Zach. So this is what happens when you have good people working together that you trust, but also you bring your editor on set. it's worth every penny if you have to pay them for it. I also am dealing as a director with the talent and the manager and talking to the talent, like, I want you to feel this, I want you to move like that, move from here to there. All of that while the whole set is watching, BTS is watching, management, record label, everybody is watching. And so obviously the star comes first, the director comes second. So I'm performing the entire day. It's a big role, so I really want you to know every aspect of directing a music video. Then I'm dealing with all the production assistants too, like, can you please get this? Can you run to Home Depot and get that? Can you help art with that? Can you help the grip department with that? So I'm dealing with all that as a director, and then also as a different hat as a producer. Two different kinds of requests from the producing point of view and from the directing point of view. So these are things that I don't know if you're going to learn these in film school, but these are real world experiences. I am dealing directly, of course I speak to people, of course I'm polite with them, but I'm dealing with director of photography, David Okolo. David, I don't like this light. David, the shadows. David, I think we should put like a fill right here to give him a little bit more light here. David, I'm not seeing the sparkle in his eye. Let's put like a white bounce board. And then he'll say, yeah, but I don't think we should do it this way. I think we should try this. I'm like, okay, fine. I think we work really well together, but it's about talking and communicating and saying, I'm not happy with this. I love this. That was amazing. Or, ooh, what'd you do there? Let's try that. Hold on to that thought. Let's try that somewhere else. That's the relationship you want to have with your DP. Now, do I talk to Gaffer? Did I talk to AC? Did I talk to Swing? I have Steadi-cam moving around. Steadi-cam has earpieces talking to David, my DP, on his microphone. So I'm like, David, have him do this. David talks to the whole crew. So Steadi-cam, move to the left, move to the left. Pull focus here. Hey, grip, Gaffer, can you move this light there? We're just getting, like, soften it up a little bit. Now, I don't talk to the crew because I don't want to confuse it. I don't want to undermine him. I want to respect his job and his role, and he'll talk to them. This is a really interesting thing, okay? So with the talent, there's something very unique. I drew an arrow, and you guys are going to see this on screen too. The talent talks back to me. Well, then give me feedback. Normally, I don't get feedback from art department or PA. Talent's like, there was a moment, Tiziano's like, this just isn't special. And he's like, it's too gray, and you promised a black and a white video. And I was like, okay. And so we spent a lot of time fixing this lighting. But you know what? At the end of the day, Tiziano was right. We give him that pop that he wanted. So you gotta allow your artist to give you advice back. And you gotta say, do you like it? Do you not? Are you happy? Are you not? The reason why is because they get to watch on a monitor. So there is a video village. There's like, normally there's 3 monitors there, but we have 1 monitor that's for the record label, that's for the crew, that's for editor, that's for everyone to look at. It's about this big. Then we have something in my hand that is this big, and that's a director's monitor. So everything that they are seeing, I'm seeing it. I'm directing him from this monitor as I'm looking down, and I'm like, no, go over here, go over there. It's kind of a pain to hold, but I do love it because I'm used to it now. So that's how we communicate on set. Now, I want to talk about inspiration. A lot of photographers, a lot of directors are very shy to tell you about their inspiration. To me, the right thing to do, the respectful thing to do, is to show your inspirations. So for me, you can see my mood board. I'm inspired by so many different components. There's an image with the chords on the ground. That's where that inspiration came from, plus an old photo of the Beatles in rehearsal. Those two together made the Tiziano Ferro music video. I'm inspired by, about 4 years ago, I went to New York and I met my friend, and we went to a Zara store in Soho. And I was mesmerized by this black and white fashion film behind the register at Zara. I found that, and that was planted in my head 4, maybe 5 years ago. And it's directed by Craig McDean, as I researched later on. So it was that video that I put Tiziano's song over it. I put some images over it. You do what you can to sell your idea on your treatment. That Craig McDean video stuck in my head, and I was like, I am so inspired by this. What can we do later on? I had no idea I was going to do a music video with an artist I haven't met yet, Tiziano Ferro. So these are all components of what put this music video together. Believe in your passion. Originally, the record label said, no. His second music video was black and white. We don't want a black and white. And I'm like, Tiziano, please, let's get a black and white video. I want something classic. I want something timeless. This is a video you deserve. This video will never expire. I promise you on everything. And he's like, no, I believe in it. He's like, but we have to throw something of color. And I said, I don't want a video that's color and black and white, color and black and white. No, that just looks like a hodgepodge. Why don't we use the color red? There's a beautiful softbox at that studio. Let's put you there and let's use some red also in post, but let's use some natural red light. And he's like, I love that. And he loves this moment of red. I said, can you please speak to the label? So we had to work through the label. And he's like, let me talk to my manager and then we'll negotiate with the label on this. Label's like, fine. They weren't the happiest, but they were very kind and they let us do it. You have to fight for your vision. There were a couple edits that Tiziano was like, I want to start with the above shot of the jib, and where I'm like talking to the camera and there's microphones and cords everywhere. And he's like, I want that to be a good half of the video. And I said, you can't because that's the spice. That's a special sauce that you sprinkle a little here and a little there. If it's everywhere, it's not special. If it's everywhere, we can't use the mirror shot of how we hung a mirror up was amazing. We can't use the broken mirrors. We can't do any of that. And he's like, okay. And I remember saying, I will never let you down. This is my ego attached to it too. It's also, I want this to be the best possible. You're a superstar. This is the kind of video you deserve. And he's like, okay, I trust you. And we made a couple adjustments here and there. And that's what happened. Have faith in yourself. You can do this. Music videos are the funnest thing. They're not the biggest money makers, but they are the funnest thing. If you have particular questions that you wish I answered about the stuff I spoke about, ask me in the comments. I will help you. I'm going to make a second Tiziano video. Maybe I'll take all those questions and I'll put it there. I'm not sharing anything private about his life. Film school teaches one way. Then the School of Hard Knocks and School of Life teaches you a whole different way. And I want to give you my example. And if you do things half like me, half like yourself, you're good. I've linked to as many people as I possibly can in the show notes, including the Tiziano Ferro music video in the comment that's pinned. Give him love, give him support. He's one of the good ones. Okay, thanks so much. I'll talk to you next time. Bye. Okay, you guys. Number one, thank you everybody for working so hard. We have one more thing with Vanessa, super fast. But Tiziano, thank you so much. That's a wrap with Tiziano. Thank you for trusting the whole team with the vision. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.